Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. Liverpool have beaten even Arsenal at the Emirates 2-0. You would have thought it was pretty simple. It wasn't. It wasn't simple at all. Fascinated to hear what Arsenal fans think about this. I think there's two ways of looking at it really. You can kind of go, if I'm being really harsh, you can be, they've run out of steam. And they kind of gave up once it was 2-0, or it felt that way. It felt like they were kind of toothless from that point. But the positive spin on it, which I think is what's worth hanging on to, is they had a real go in that first half. A real go. And they made a Liverpool side that is pretty special look pretty ordinary in the first half. It was a tough game, wasn't it? There wasn't a huge amount going on. We'll have a look at the average positions. I think there's something to be said about the right-hand side and the fact that Mohamed Salah, of course, didn't play in this game and how that affected Liverpool in this game. But I think the top line that you've got to say about Liverpool is, I think it would be a fair... If you were to say Liverpool are the favourites now, I know they've got to go to Man City, and I think they've got harder fixtures right now. And I will be doing a deep dive into Liverpool and Man City, the very minute weaknesses that both teams have in terms of the games that they've lost and the goals they've conceded. And a bit like we did with the top four and a bit like we did with the relegation thing, we'll have a look and try and put together a bit of a formula to suggest who will win the title. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're with me for the first time, we do this quite often, a lot of lives after the game, just to kind of hear what you guys have got to say and just talk about it all. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell as well. And QPR lost, so do me a favour, hit the like button as well. Give me a like at least. Let me get something out of tonight. Actually, watching... we've got some super chats. Get your super chats in as well. We'll read them as well. Any questions you want me to answer, we can do that as well. Watching the QPR game was actually quite similar to watching Arsenal, because the endeavour was certainly there, but things kind of they came up against a team with such momentum. QPR did in Nottingham Forest. Add to that a couple of injuries, and then it all kind of fell apart. And it felt kind of similar with Liverpool. When we were talking about it at half-time, Arsenal looked really, really good. They came out with so much ferocity, so much energy. And I've got to say, and Liverpool fans won't want to hear this, we've got to talk about the fact that Martinelli had Trent on toast. Like on serious toast. Serious toast. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. I know that, Liverpool fans. And this doesn't mean he's a bad footballer, but it probably highlights just how exciting Martinelli is. Real live wire with the ball. He looked at Trent, and you could see Trent looked a little bit scared. He did him once, and then after that, it was kind of every single time he got the ball, you could see that Trent was wobbling a little bit. What I would say is Trent did stick to task at the end of it, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. But the goals, I think... Well, we'll get to the goals in a second. What I think I really like is that Liverpool found a way, and they're so durable, Liverpool, that... And they've got so many players in the right areas. And I did want to touch on Alisson, who weirdly was kind of my man of the match. And I tweeted about it because it popped into my head. It was like, imagine if Liverpool had just stuck with Karius. Imagine. If they'd stuck with Karius and where they would be right now. Because that high line is so brave. And Alisson just makes it work a lot of the time. A lot of the time he makes it work. I did want to talk about the fact that Salah wasn't in the team and how that hurt them. Hopefully it'll come up here. For some reason it's not working now. Oh look, the internet seems to have disappeared. What's going on? Oh dear, here we go. It's all going wrong. It'll come back. I tell you what, put your man of the match in whilst I'm fixing this, because for some reason it's decided to stop working. Oh, that's annoying. It's not happening for me tonight, lads. It's not happening. Come on. Reveal yourself. Single man, reveal yourself. Not doing it. Fine. We'll have to go rogue. No average positions today. What I was going to show you was the fact that basically I think it's just interesting, the fact that without Salah, and find the app, and I'm not going to say the name of the app because they're not paying me to do it as of yet. But when Salah came on the pitch, what happens there is that he just stretches the play so much. And without him, there was a real gap there. And actually, Mane, Jota and Diaz were all kind of on each other's toes in that first half because they were kind of all moving about in the similar positions. Mane, I thought, had a really difficult game. That kind of cohesion and chemistry, he just doesn't seem to have it with Trent, which is understandable because, he's not played with him that whole time. He's been on the other side with Robertson. But I thought that on that right-hand side, they did struggle, and it kind of allowed Arsenal just to have that little bit more tenacity, a little less fear, and they kind of went for them a little bit. Played really well. Partey was completely surrounded in the first half and did really, really well for them. And as I say, Martinelli was tearing Trent to pieces. Trent was actually really high up, as he normally is, but I think that's the thing, is that what makes Trent so great is runners around him. And when Salah's not there and it's just him, the one thing Trent's probably going to do is not dribble with the ball. He's going to try and put a cross in. He did put one great cross in, which led to a corner. But aside from that, Liverpool didn't look as competent, as potent as they do when Salah's on the pitch, which is an obvious one, right? Firmino coming on was really useful for them as well. And this kind of comes back to the fact that they do have those five now. Now, people were kind of going, well, we've always had this depth. We're Liverpool, we've always had this depth. That's not true. The Diaz signing does make a huge, huge difference. Huge difference. Because, and again, Liverpool fans won't want to hear this. You say what you want about Origi. You don't want to put him on. Klopp doesn't want to put him on. But if he's not got any other options, okay, he'll chuck Origi on. And fortunately, it's worked out. And yes, he's got a snapshot. Yes, he's an elite footballer. We'll get all of those things. But you don't want to play him. So to have Diaz and to be able to bring on Firmino and Salah and it be 0-0 at half-time and then be able to bring on those players does make, and here it comes in the chat, does make a huge difference. Does make a huge difference. The goals, I think, goals change games and Ramsdale will be devastated with that. I think what I'm intrigued about with Ramsdale is everyone really likes him at the moment. I like him as well. I think he plays on the front foot. What I can see, though, it feels like I think he's obviously got a much better wingspan than Pickford, and I think he looks more like a goalkeeper than Pickford. But what I can see is that, and I'll predict it now, in about 2 years' time, everyone will hate Ramsdale. Everyone will think he's erratic and a joke, because you've got to be perfect all the time. I hope I'm wrong, because I really, really like him. I think he's a really talented goalkeeper, and I think I generally have a theory with goalkeepers that as time progresses, you start to think they're iffy. Just because, the things we remember are those mistakes. Now, that goal is a mistake, but it's also an unbelievable bit of vision from Thiago in the build-up there. And Jota being able to be who he is, just work that channel. Great movement there from on that left-hand side. Gets his shot off. Shouldn't be scoring there, but did. I think the one thing, as I was saying earlier, is that I think if you're an Arsenal fan, the next 3 games are so, so important. And if they were able to get a draw out of that game, maybe they got ahead of themselves a little bit in the second half where they should have gone, okay, look, we've been brilliant here. We've done really well. Let's get over the line and try and get ourselves a draw. Life's not that simple. And, a mistake from Ramsdale. The second goal is a catalogue of errors as well. And all of a sudden they're 2-0 down and the game's over. So the next 3, Villa, Palace, Brighton, that's where the real test is. And you just hope for Arsenal, in terms of retaining the momentum that they've created so far, is that they kind of forget about this one. It's going to be interesting. I think this time next year when these guys play, the expectation of Arsenal will be different. And I'll be intrigued to see how Arsenal fans react to it, because it's 4 games now against Liverpool and they haven't scored a goal, from what they said on Sky Sports. So I think that's right. And so with that in mind, right now it's okay. And I think that's right. The expectations are, these are young guys. We're excited about what's happening here. We know what the team is. Let's not ruin the momentum. And that's something that Arsenal have done in the past because of their high expectations, because of an element of entitlement. I think Arsenal fans and Arsenal and the media as well have kind of stopped with that. So I think this helps. So it will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see how all these players kind of age in the minds of people. But at this moment in time, I think there's so many positives there. And this is just a Liverpool side that have got to be right up there now. They have to be right up there, because if you can win ugly like that, you're something special. And, you know, you watch the Man United game, spoke about it yesterday, that sort of sensing of danger, that playing on the front foot, the tenacity, the clever little fouls at times, the desire, and ultimately the fact that what Man City and Liverpool do a lot of the time is stuff that we know they're going to do, but you can't stop them. That's a great signifier of a really, really good team. And add to that the depth now, and I think they've got a huge shot. I mean, it's going to go right to the wire, obviously, but they've got a massive chance now, and the momentum's there. And I think this suits them a little bit. They prefer themselves to be underdogs with all of this. Right, let's answer some of these super chats then. Enishan Toppers, 45 minutes we were neck and neck, but it's Liverpool. They won the Carabao Cup. They're fighting for first. We knew it was not going to be easy, but Martinelli, yeah, great summing up of the game there, I think. Look, there are definite positives there. I think Partey is getting better and better and better as the season's progressed. I thought Xhaka was pretty good, actually, as well, especially in the first half. Marshalled the team quite well and tidy on the ball himself. You know, Saka's always a good option. And Alisson, when we were talking about him there, that save that he makes in the first half is so important. So important, but that's what happens with Liverpool. You know, watching Man United yesterday, watching Liverpool today, you have players that constantly kind of step up, and at the very worst, they're not letting you down. And another clean sheet. Matip was great as well. And I thought it was interesting that Robertson's average position was a lot deeper, and that's because he was having to deal with the likes of Saka and Odegaard and that right-hand side for Arsenal. But which did stunt them a little bit. But yeah, bringing on Firmino in the second half helped them. And I think in the last 20 minutes, I think we all felt like the game was over, which was interesting. It's interesting that that's the case, because as much as they had a go, you know, Liverpool ultimately have won the game really, really comfortably. Makdara Kelly, who was better, Lee Chung-yong or Ki Sung-yong? Have I just said something naughty there? Hopefully not. I don't think I have. Maybe I have. I don't know. Maestro D, we were worth a win, but when you miss chances like we do against big teams, we won't get those wins. Screw Vlahovic and those Turin merchants, secret agent Emery. I did call Villarreal. Go back to the Euro predictions for the Champions League. The only one I got wrong was Benfica. Got Atletico Madrid right. Got Villarreal right. People laughing at me with the Villarreal shout. Yeah, did well. I think Lacazette looked really good in the first half. He's like a Yilmaz, you know, a Burak Yilmaz, just old dude, just keeping it and playing it and enjoying the value that he's got right now. But he's not the future, is he? I think that's the one thing I would say. You can improve there. Francesco Mancia. Arsenal made Liverpool work for it. Klopp had to switch his wingers to attack Arsenal's right-hand side. Martinelli was on fire. Great game for the neutral. Great first half for the neutral. Thought second half it kind of fell away a little bit. And like I say, Arsenal, once the goal went in, Arsenal didn't have much to offer. And I think that is something to work on, obviously. It's like, you know, okay, it felt like the belief completely went once that first goal went in. I've got to be honest. So there you have it, guys. Yeah, average positions, I'd love to show them, but I can't. For some reason, it's not working on the live stream. I apologise. Just one of those things. Right, guys. Podcast will be here soon. Loads coming up, so make sure you hit the like button for me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll be in the comments for the next hour or so. Subscribe to the channel if you are feeling generous, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.